Purchasing fans for your computer is pretty straightforward, but it's an important part of building your computer. So this video won't be very long, but before we go into it, this video is part of a series on how to build a custom PC. So if you haven't watched the other videos in this series, I would recommend checking those out, and I will link them in the cards and in the video description below so you can go see those. Okay, so let's get into it and buy some fans and a cooler for our PC. All right, let's go ahead and choose a CPU cooler and some case fans. Now, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna open up the page for the case that you're buying, and you're gonna scroll down, and then under specs, you're gonna look for cooling system. And under the fans, it looks like we can fit two 120 millimeter fans on the front. You can fit two 120 millimeter fans on the top and one 120 millimeter fan on the back. And then as far as radiator options go, because maybe you want to do an AIO, like an all-in-one cooler, or some other form of water cooling system, you can fit a 240 millimeter radiator on the front and up to 120 millimeter radiator on the back. So those are the things that we're going to want to look for. So let's go ahead and go over to components. I buy all of my parts on newegg.com. So you go over to components and you do fans and CPU cooling. Let's go ahead and start with the CPU fans and heatsink. So we're going to open that up, and then, if we're gonna do a CPU cooler with a fan, we wanna make sure that this CPU cooler isn't going to be too high. So we're also gonna come back here and we're gonna look at max CPU cooler height, which is 160 millimeters high. So as long as we're lower than 160 millimeters high, then we should be good. So this max CPU cooler height, you can check anything below 160 millimeters. And then we want to make sure that we're looking at the AM4 socket, because that is the socket of our CPU, which is a Ryzen 5 5600X. So we apply all of those things, and here is the list of coolers that will fit and be compatible with our case, our motherboard, our CPU, everything like that. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and sort lowest price, because honestly, most of these are going to be just fine. Some of them, you know, we have a pretty powerful CPU that we're getting for this system. And so I want one that's upright, one that's gonna suck the heat up through the heat pipes and then blow the heat out the back of the case. So that's what I wanna do. And so I'm gonna scroll down until I see one that makes sense. I really like this one. I like for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's got two fans, right? So it comes with two fans, so you can set them up so it will pull air in, and it will also, it'll pull air in, blow it on the heatsink, and then it will also make sure that that air gets sufficiently exhausted out the back. And I really like that. And then it's kind of got this silver, white, and black fins. And I don't know, maybe people think that looks tacky. I like it. And so this is gonna be the CPU cooler I get. So I'm gonna add that to cart. And now we just need to get some 120 millimeter fans. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get, let's say 3 fans. So let's go ahead and do case fans. And then we're gonna look for the fan size of 120 millimeter fans. That's what we're looking for. So 120 right there. And then I don't really care for any of the RGB on here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do something that, see, these are LED. I'm gonna do something that doesn't even have LED. Oh, you know what? LED would probably look pretty cool actually, now that I think about it. So I'm gonna get a triple pack, and then I'm also going to get a single pack as well. And that's all there is to buying fans for your case, CPU cooler and everything. Hopefully this video was helpful, and if it was, I would love a thumbs up and a sub from you. Also, if you have any other advice as far as picking a CPU cooler and fans, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, we'll see you later.